The Government's War Against the Impoverished by Tracy Mapes, October 23, 2024. Sacramento, California. When the government chooses taxation, fines, and penalties over humanity and the current state of human condition, only the failure of civility, society, and its eventual collapse can be the final conclusion. Only state actors such as California's Governor Gavin Newsom and Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper can be seen as worse than the Nazi fucking bastards when it comes to the implementation of applicable laws regarding the indigent, homeless, and disadvantaged. Even the Nazis had the civility and humanitarian conscience to clothe, house, and feed their prisoners. In California, these people know no such conscience, as the people who have found their way onto the streets homeless through circumstance and misfortune are stripped of their worldly goods, such as shelter or safety, without consideration of a person's elderly status, mental or physical condition, or economic hardships that have resulted in their current position. The law of the land has been muddied by unlawful modification of the U.S. Constitution to allow some of these abuses to occur, but California has taken it to the next level when the homeless are supposed to be held financially responsible at a time when the state of California's government cannot account for nearly $210 billion shortfall over the last 1.5 years, without confirmation or accountability. This without the mention of the $24 billion associated to programs to aid the homeless over a 5-year period also disappeared without accountability. These monies, often distributed through nonprofits and NGOs that enjoy the exploitation of public funds, with little beneficial payback to the cause or endeavor they were charged to meet. Other funds redirected by the governor himself, $1 billion at a time. Then, to top it all off, Gavin chose to veto the very legislation that would have demanded the audit of where such public funds actually went. Another criminal cartel cover for the government. Waste right before the eyes of the public. Where is the government's citation, penalty, or fine for financial irresponsibility? The governor and legislators should be stripped of their office and incarcerated for this, but nary a whisper of their lack of accountability. $24 billion allocated for the homeless persons over a 5-year period could have paved the way for every homeless person to have received about $28,000 per year for 5 years, or a total of $140,000 per person for 5 years. That's about $2,340 a month, and yet they remain unhoused. Moving on to the egregious treatment of homeless by the capital's Sacramento County Sheriff. The Sheriff's Department is one of the specifically mentioned in law when it comes to reporting and accountability of persons who perpetrate elder abuse, and are also charged with the responsibility of protecting victims of elder abuse. California state law requires that the Sheriff's Office, code enforcement, and other law enforcement agency is to leave the affected elderly individual in a state that addresses the health, welfare, and safety of the condition of the affected victim or individual. California Code 𝗚𝗚𝗃𝗃𝗍 and California Code PEN 368 and the following link to Adult Protective Services all address these legal and lawful handling of the elderly. But in the current state of affairs, these agencies are stripping the elderly homeless populations of these dignities and perpetrating the very victimization that such laws and rights were legislated to protect. Dear Governor Newsom, the Supreme Court decision on Grants Pass, Oregon, under the 8th Amendment did not greenlight you to violate the Constitution under the 4th Amendment protections that guarantee that one remains secure from their government in the care of their property and effects, many of these items being required for the maintenance of one's health and survival. thus reinvoking the ideas of what is cruel and unusual punishment with a ticket book outside of the judicial review and due process of law. On September 9th of 2024, a vehicle was seized by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department while in the attendance of the Sacramento Homeless Outreach Coordinator. Also a Sacramento County Sheriff's Department employee, Sergeant Jason Winkle, badge number 253. Jason laughed to himself as he offered a cardboard box of social assistance literature in exchange for the back registration fees owed on the vehicle. This with no consideration, as another Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy gleefully interjected all of the infractions he was able to assign against the vehicle. No plate, no assigned title holder, no plates issued, salvaged, no title, no registration, over 6 months due, no insurance, non-motor vehicle stop, non-modified VIN number, object on the dash obscuring. After stacking up as many financial penalties as one could provide, with no consideration of the economic status of the victim, age, or health concerns, while sworn to protect the interest of the elderly, disadvantaged, or disabled while acting under the color of authority. This truck was used as a support vehicle attached to a trailer, used as shelter in the health and welfare of a single individual without further assistance needed. And as the truck was towed away, left behind was a physically challenged senior with a heart condition and no way to answer the 72-hour notice to move the house trailer left behind. Left abandoned along the highway, the senior citizen faced the fear and threat of losing his trailer house. If the government is willing to forfeit humanitarian aid and the health, safety, shelter, and security by those who have been sworn to protect such with glee, how is that supposed to build a sense of community? The systematic removal and seizure of survival tools that homeless or economically disadvantaged persons have been able to collect in support of their own well-being is destroying the opportunities to successfully solve an unfathomable economic and humanitarian crisis. This is what makes this government, Gavin Newsom, and Sheriff Department head Jim Cooper and his code enforcement henchmen worse than the Nazi regime of World War II when it comes to the humanitarian concerns and public safety and civility of our community. Governor Gavin Newsom and Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper will be remembered for this time in history as human lives are strewn about with less care than abandoned animals along the roadway. This is Tracy Mapes reporting from Sacramento, California, homeless Sacramento County citizen and former vehicle user.
There's so